Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Sly here, and I'm back with another video. So, this is kind of a tier list, somewhat video, but it's pretty much just prepping everybody for the upcoming Primal Dragons trials, or the Zero Dragons, whatever the hell you want to call them. Most people are going to call them Zero Dragons because Midgard's Zero was a dragon during second anniversary, and that pretty much like gave everybody the name. So, Zero Dragons and Primal Dragons, same thing. So, if you hear somebody call them one or the other, it's the exact same thing. So, thankfully, there is no Nihility because, as Matt mentioned in a discussion video, that will be posted within about a day or two. I recorded with him and Mike. We were just going over elements and stuff. You'll see the video when it comes out. But it was he confirmed that it's pretty much just dragon thingy. Not dragons. I'm sorry. It's like demons, so that's why it's like in Rise of the Sinister Domain, because they're all like demon-based enemies. Trials of the Mighty is pretty much just like an introduction to the mechanic, so that's why it's there. But it's pretty much just Rise of the Sinister Dominion / demons and all that. So pretty much in this, you can have access to double buffs and whatnot. So for this, since it's going to be Midgard 0 or 0 mid-0 for the event. Obviously, you want flame units. So we have here a list of all the 5-star flame units currently in the game, except for the twins. Twins are not on this list yet because it's only updated to humanoid Jupiter, which is fine. So at the end of this video, Matt will just edit in like an icon of the twins of where I feel like they should be. So for this, we pretty much have staples, as in if you have them, put them on the team and don't take them off. High tier, which is like, yes, you really, really want them on there. Solid, good choices. Budget, like if you got nothing else. Bench or shared skill. Shared skill is pretty much like yourself or for co-op, and that's the same thing for bench. So like if they're good for the bench or they're just shared skill. So either or. So we're going to start with Yuden. Yuden is actually a solid option, believe it or not, because he ramps Dragon, and everybody has access to him because you literally have him for installing the fucking game. All you have to do is just MC70 him for all of his stuff. But, yeah, Yuden, literally the very first unit everybody gets in this game, is actually a really solid option for this, which is fantastic, and you love to see it. Mikoto, so he's actually a pretty solid option. Yeah, he's actually pretty solid. He's not a horrible unit, obviously, like based off of everything I read, because I pretty much just mumbled it under my breath. I'm sorry, I didn't want to bore you all. Cliff notes. He gets a lot of strength, crit damage, and increases his crit rate as well. So yeah. He's also stun, which is pretty much 70% of the fucking units in this game. But yeah, he's actually a really solid option, believe it or not, so you'll love to see it. Ezalith! Dear God, Ezalith is a high tier option because she can just do a lot of nuking stuff. She can do a little bit of tomfoolery. And I know that if my friend Sari watches this, she'll be really happy that I put Ezalith there, so yeah. Ezalith is really, really good. She can output a lot of damage. Also, not to mention she's a dagger, so she has access to that crit rate. So yeah, Ezalith is a really high tier option to run for DPS. Verica, I would honestly say she's a budget option for staff. She's not a horrible staff unit. You could argue she would be good as a good choice. Let me just pull up Verica again real quick, because I have not run her in so long. She can remove stun and increases team strength. However, her second skill only restores HP to the team member that's most needed. She does have Dragon Claws as her chain co-op, which is actually really good. So you could put her for a bench, but honestly, because of her S2 only targeting the team member that needs it the most instead of just healing everybody, because like, what if they're all low on HP? Then she just picks the one that's the lowest, and then everyone else is fucked. So that's why I would say she's a budget option. Naveed is actually a high tier choice. He does Dispel on his S1. His S2 is a strength and defense buff to himself, right? Strength and defense. Let me just double check. I use him like fairly often. I actually built him a lot for Yaldi. Yeah, it works up to 5 times. Yeah, increases defense and strength by 20% just for himself. So he can theoretically double buff himself if he so choose to do that. And he also does dispel with his S1. So there is that. So that's really good to have. Cinema is literally because of her shared skill. Because her shared skill enables the potential to have your HP increased. And for healers, that's really, really, really good because I used it once for, I think it was Master Asura. It was either Expert or Master Asura. I was the staff in co-op, and I got her to over 10,000 health. So Cinema's share skill is actually really fantastic. Not to mention she is a 1, so she does have that skill damage in her kit. Let me just double check that she has that. Yeah, she has the skill damage, 15%. So she's really good for a bench, honestly. And not to mention her share skill. Cerise! So moving on to Valentine's Day Hildegard. She's actually really, really good. However, I won't put her in staples just on the sheer fact she does not give over damage. That is the only thing. However, she does have the HP shield. And her 4 strikes. Ooh, actually, yeah. Honestly, I would say staple her to your team if you have her. I think for staples, I might do it in order from left to right for certain units. Because there are other flame staff that would go in there. But because her 4 strike dispels a buff, and because her 4 strikes have a 100% chance to reduce the enemy strength by 5%, that's really helpful for her. Plus, she has built-in skill prep and skill charge by 5% when she uses a skill. And she gets 40% of a HP shield, and gives potency, increases energy. Yeah, she's a fantastic staff option, so I would say staple her if you have her. Marth. Honestly, Marth is... I want to say he's a good choice nowadays. He's not horrible, he's not bad, but honestly, his cheese has kind of fallen off, and there are just better options to run for him. So yeah, Marth is pretty much, he's like in the middle tier pretty much these days. Galamim, honestly, because of her dragon ramping, she's still a fantastic unit. And pairing her with Galileonitis these days, who helps you ramp, you will almost never fall out of dragon with Mim. So running the team of like Kimono Ellie, Galamim, Galileonitis, and Laxi, or if you want the safety of a staff like Halloween Lowen or Berserker or Yukata Cassandra, you really want Galamim on your team because she will always be in dragon. So there you go. Next up, Serena. Actually, I put Serena on here because she got a spiral. What does she do again? Where is her spiral? Okay, here we go. Okay. She increases the entire team's crit rate by 10%. Okay, so she's really good for that S1. And then her S2 is just 4 hits of 290% flame damage to enemies directly ahead. Above 10 hits crit rate by 12%. So you get an extra 22% crit rate from her in her kit with her S1 and her Chainco ability, and gives Dragon Haste. And then applies 7% to the modifier applied to critical damage for every 20 hit combo up to 3 times. So she can get up to 21% crit damage in her kit. And then Barrage Devastation is another up to 15% crit rate. Oh my god. Yeah, your ass is going into high tier because dear God, she's really good. Fuck, man, I might work on her spiral. Shit. Hot diggity damn. Okay. Alrighties, calm down, Serena. Student Maribel. Pretty much just a bench. Let me double check her kit because, like, I don't think anyone ever fucking uses this child. Reduces base defense for 10% for 10 seconds. 10 seconds with 100 base chance. Won't stack. Big A. Excuse me, hiccups. Big AOE. Full HP still damage. Has broken Punisher. Honestly, just pretty much a bench because of her skill damage. There's just a million other options that are better than her. Like, the defense down is great, but it's only 5% and it doesn't stack, so eh. Alright, next one we have Raina. Let me double check Raina's kit. I saw someone using her the other day. Let me just go over what the hell she does. Her skill 2 immediately raise her S1 skill for use and adds 50% to the modifier applied to critical damage for 20 seconds. Okay, fantastic. Her S1 deals 4 hits and 1 hit. Separate modifiers, inflicts burn. Skill shift phase 2 as an additional 10% crit rate. While phase 3 increases damage to burning enemies. Increases the defense of the adventurer you are currently controlling by 15% for 10 seconds every time their initial skill displayed at the top of their skill list becomes available for use. And she has built-in healing double buff. Okay, she's actually a solid option. She's really good because of the utility she gives her team, especially giving that extra defense whenever their S1 is ready, and the healing double buff for herself is fantastic. And not to mention that her skill 2 is really stupid. Next up, we have Ramona. And let me double check. She can be a defense... I'm sorry. She can become a double buff enabler with her Smith shield, which increases the entire team's defense by 25% for 15 seconds, which is fantastic. She has strength double buff for herself and her abilities. And then prime strength is increases strength of the event you are currently controlling by 10 seconds every time that... Okay, so she's pretty much strength. She's the strength first in Raina. So every time their first skill becomes ready, they'll get 10% extra strength. So that's really good for her. So she's actually a solid option to choose, honestly. Double buff enabler, as well as has strength double buff in the kit for herself, and then has prime strength, so that's really good. Leia, she's actually a high tier option. Her spiral actually did allow her to compete with the other swords in the meta, pretty much, you know, Yuden, Naveed, and Serena. Because her S1 will dispel and inflict burn, and then S2 deals 2 hits of 820 flame damage to enemies directly ahead. As bonus neutral element damage equal to 1100% of the damage taken while Crimson Guardian is active. User's HP is 60% of max HP. While using the skill, they will take damage equal to 20% of the maximum HP reflected damage receives no bonus. Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. It's where she inflicts burn. But she has Scorch Rent Punisher, theoretically, with her Crimson Oath, because it increases damage to Scorch Rent enemies and increases her Force Strike. Gives a team amp. Oh, okay, I see. When Crimson Glory is active, the user's next Force Strike will deal 1 hit and inflict Scorch Rent. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, I see how it works now. Okay. So yeah, she's really solid option. Dispels, burn, and Scorch Rend, so she can enable double punishers. Obviously, Galileonitis does it a little bit better, but however, she is actually a fantastic unit to have if you do have her, and she's spiraled. Next up, we have Emma. Emma's a solid option because she is the double buff enabler for Flame. Her S1 increases strength of your allies. Skill 2 is defense for the entire team. Ugh. Sorry, I had to stretch there. Long day. Did not sleep well. But anyways, her S1 increases strength. Skill 2 increases defense for the entire team. So she's pretty much Patia, but instead of an attack, she has more strength towards the team. So she's actually a fantastic support unit if you choose to run her on your team. Would I recommend it? Probably not, because Flame and Light are like the two elements that don't necessarily rely on double buffs all the time. So there is that. So I wouldn't necessarily say yes, bring her, but she is still a solid option to have. Yuya is literally for the bench because he has crit rate as a dagger, and then he also has Jack and Haste by I think 20% for his chain co ability. Where are you? There he is. 18%, sorry. Okay, yeah, he has 18% Dragon Haste, and his share skill is actually really fantastic because it is entire team defense and gives a 30% HP shield. So that's always fantastic. So he's really good. Halloween Mim. Halloween Mim is honestly just a good option. And I say this because she doesn't do any damage on any of her skills. She's literally the definition of a support unit, which is why she's tagged that. Both of her skills in total, I can't remember which one does which. Let me just pull it up real quick. Okay, yeah. Skill 1 creates a debuff zone that lasts for 10 seconds and reduces 15% defense of all enemies inside of it. Okay, I'm sorry. She does do damage. She does 2 hits of it, but it's not much. So yeah, she's literally support. Defense down bubble, and then skill 2 is increase the strength of flame to shoot at adventurers by 20% for 15 seconds. And activates Dream Boost. During Dream Boost, the user's crit rate is increased by 5%. And she does have 30% crit damage as her co-ability, and then 20% Dragon Haste as her chain. So she does have a lot of good utility. So I'm not going to say she's entirely horrible, but if you're going to pick a Mim to use, you literally go with Gala. Like, Gala is just the best Mim, pretty much. Summer is actually great, but if we're talking flame only, then you definitely do Gala. Halloween Lowen, I don't think I need to even explain this little child. Is it safe to say I don't need to explain it? Because if I don't need to explain it, I ain't going to explain it. Halloween Lowen, enough said. Staple. Don't even question it. Next up, we have Chelsea. Let me check Chelsea. I know a lot about Valentine's Day Chelsea, but I don't know much about Chelsea herself, besides the fact that she's obsessed with Luca. During obsession, loves liberation, instead deals and heals you for 5% of the damage done. The recovery caps at 7% of the user's max HP per hit. Skill 2 activates obsession for 60 seconds. During obsession, the user's strength is increased by 30%, and they will take damage equal to 3% of their maximum HP every time they attack or use a skill. Furthermore, increases the damage dealt by Love's Liberation and causes it to restore the user's HP by 5% of the damage inflicted up to a maximum of 49% of the user's max HP. Okay. Yeah. She's pretty good, honestly. She's a good choice to have, but you're not going to want to, start ticking your own HP just to do a little bit of damage, honestly. Mega Man, honestly, Mega Man is just a bench. Like, unless you played when his event was around, nobody has him anyway, so he's pretty much just a bench. Nobu, I would say Nobu is a high tier option. I won't put her in staple. Excuse me. Just because there are like other units on in Flame that we will get to that are just staples, and it's really hard to be like, yeah, I can take this unit out and put in Nobu instead. However, Nobunaga does dispel, because she's a blade, she does have that strength co-ability as well. What else? What is Dream Offensive? Deals 1 hit. Yeah, because her skill 2 is Dispels. and she actually has if anybody ever played Grand Cross, she has the ability Rupture, so she deals extra damage to enemies that have buffs, which is damage increased against enemies with a buff to one hit of 2,334. So instead of one hit of 1,356, it becomes 2,034 if they have a buff. So she kind of goes, well, she does Dispel. It's weird of how her S2 works. But either way, she's a fantastic unit. She dispels, and then Gem Offensive is deals a hit, applies Burning Ambition, with 100% chance for 30 seconds. Enemies will take one hit of 1565 flame damage when Burning Ambition's effect ends. Burning Ambition does not stack and cannot be reapplied. It will be triggered if dispelled. Okay. Is that a buff? I don't know entirely. And then Gracie uses Force Strike the abilities to dispel when combo count is 15 or higher. She has that in her kit as well. And she has combo time. So overall, she's a high tier fantastic option. She is near staple level. It's just that others will do it a little bit better than her. But either way, she's a fantastic unit. She's fan-freaking-tastic. Next up is Nadine. Let me double check Nadine, because I know her S1 dispels. What else does she do? She inflicts burn. She increases her own energy levels. It grants an 80% chance that a user's energy level will increase by an social stage upon being increased. Okay. So pretty much she's an energizer for herself or her team. I think it's just herself. I'm not entirely sure, but she does Dispel. She is an energizer. She also has that 80% chance to do an extra level. So overall, she's actually a solid option to take. So yeah. Also, she does have extra strength against enemies that are burned. So she does have built-in. She doesn't have a Punisher, but she has extra damage against enemies that are burned. She increases the user strength by 13%. 13% against enemies that are burned. So she is actually a fantastic bench as well. So that's why she's a solid option. What is this dude's name? Hunter Berserker? Who? Do I have? I don't think I have him. What does he do? Deals 2 hits. Reduces their defense by 5%. Okay. Next Force Strike by 80%. Damage taken equals Force Strike damage. I mean, it's not bad. He's a good choice, but honestly, he's a budget option if you don't have anything else, honestly. Next up, we have Crom. Crom is... I know you're a really good bench for some things. Flames of Awakening. Each stack will increase strength of Aether. Okay, what's Aether, which is skill 2? DLC hits a flame damage to the target nearby enemies, restores 3% of the damage. Recovery counts 50%. 15, not 50, in case anyone misheard me say that. The skill's strength will increase relative to the number of Flames of Awakening stacks the user has, and will consume all Flames of Awakening stacks and one level of the user's skill reservoir on use. Oh my god. His skill 2 is a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card, dude. I'm not reading all that. Full HP equals strength. Honestly, he's a budget option. Let's be honest here. He's a budget option. Galileonitis staple. Galileonitis is so fucking good, especially after her spell. Like, it's not even funny. Enables double punishers. A long-range dagger. Helps ramp your team. Hold on, what does she ramp? Hold on, I need to check this. Yeah, in Eden mode, so with Eden mode, she'll do Scorch Rend on her S1. Outside of it, she'll just do burn. So like I said, she enables double punishers. I'm just trying to just like blank stare and read this. There it is. Critical Frenzy increases crit rate by 4% for every 15 hit up to 3 times per combo and adds 4% to the modifier each time one of the user's stacks is a critical hit, up to 10 times per combo. Yeah, Laxi will just skyrocket, and it's so dumb. And she grants Strength Amp as well, so... Ramping crit rate, crit damage, double punishers, it's a lot of just stupid shit that Laxi does. Like, she's a staple on my teams nowadays. Like, it's so dumb. Yukata Cassandra, she is actually a staple unit. However, honestly, you'll still run Halloween Loan anyways. But Yukata Cassandra does have a spiral, so she does have 50% to overdamage. What else does she... there was more that she gives, and it's really good. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, restores HP to all teammates with 100% recovery potency and grants all teammates a 1U shield that nullifies damage less than 20%. So she has 20% HP shield, and then Fluorescent Fish gives 50% overdamage. Excuse me. And then S2 is recovery over time with 35% potency. And grants a max level team amp level of 2 for a strength amp to the team. So, yeah. And then she also has taking damage, which is increases her strength by 13% for 15 seconds when they take damage. So, that is her chain co ability. So, she's really good and has built-in 100% skill prep as well. So, she is a stable unit. So, she's really good. Incognito Nefaria. Let's see what she got. She does have that skill damage. Critical hit equals critical damage. Adds 25% to the modifier applied to critical damage for 20 seconds each time one of the users attacks as a crit hit. That's really good. However, it won't activate again for 7 seconds. So, yeah, there is that. But, she herself will give herself 45% skill damage because of her kit, because of her co-ability, which is the standard 15%. And then her own personal ability, which is 30% skill damage as well. So there is that. So she can do a lot of damage, but honestly, she's a good choice, but I wouldn't say she's, you know, up there. Galileonitis. I don't think this dude needs any introductions anymore. I'm not going to go over what the hell Galileonitis does. At this point, you all know why he's that fucking good. Staple. Seimei is actually a solid option. He is a wand, so... But he has a different ability. And actually, an ability I actually personally like myself. Which I will pull up in a second so I have the exact wording. Oh yeah, by the way, his S2 dispels and inflicts Scorch Rend, so there's that. His co-ability is Overdrive Punisher and Gauge Accelerator built in entirely. 15% overdrive damage, so 15% overdrive Punisher, and 10% Gauge Accelerator to speed up that. And also has combo equals buff skill time, so every time a flame ally buff or for yourself, so this will only work for yourself if you're in co-op, and then solo, obviously, yourself. Every 10 combo count increases your buff skill time by 15%. So that's really helpful. So yeah. Dispeller helps you shred and gives you buff skill time as well. So he's a fantastic unit to have. So he's a solid option. Kuzunoa, you have some overdamage, but you're a budget option. Like, you are the budget staff, honestly. Her event's out right now, actually. I know she has over damage. Yeah, but it's only 30% over damage, and it's not even a shared skill, so fat L on that, honestly. She is a good bench though, because she does have combo time, so she is actually a pretty good bench for Summer Alex, but other than that, eh. Oh yeah. Kimono Ellie-san. She is a staple, dude. It's not even funny. She's on almost every single flame team in existence these days. Like, the flame team is the twins, Kimono Ellie, Galileonitis, and Galileonitis. That is the flame team. Honestly, obviously, I don't have the twins. I'm 70 into. I did it on the multi after I got my Galileonitis. I was like, you know what? Maybe, because 10 out of 10, they're a great meta unit, but twins, they're like a 2 on how badly you need them, because you can get by on content without them. They are fun as shit, but they're not required. I'll get to that later. But Kimono Ellie-san, do I really need to go over what the hell she does? You know what? Yes, I do, because guess what? I have a bias to Ellie-san, and this unit is so goddamn good. I am so glad I dream summoned her. Let's quickly go over what she does. Her S1, by continually tapping the screen while charging the skill, will grant New Year's Prayer up to an additional level of 2 times to each adventurer. Level 1, 0 taps for 15 seconds, increases strength by 15. Level 2, 1 tap for 30 seconds, increases strength by 25. Level 3 is 2 taps for 60 seconds, increases strength by 40%, and reduces wind damage taken by 15%. Extremely fantastic. Even just 0 taps, 15% strength to your entire team, because she's normally an AI for solo. Excuse me. And then her second skill, which is Lucky Day, deals damage, inflicts Scorch Rend with a 40% chance, and lowers her Scorch Rend resistance by 20% for 30 seconds. And because Leonidas inflicts Scorch Rend, and so does Galileonitis, you're pretty much just going to be slamming the enemies with Scorch Rend constantly, allowing Scorch Rend Punisher as a print, or if they have it built into their kit, to literally go ham taro, and it's completely stupid. Not to mention, her chain co ability Flame combo equals crit rate. So they're if a team member is attuned to Flame, increases their crit rate by 1% for every 10 combo, can stack up to 20 times. So for somebody like Galileonitis, who can hit 200 combo, or Galileonitis, who can hit 200 combo really fucking easily, it's not even funny to hit that crit rate to 20%. It's really, really, really dumb. So yeah. Kimono Ellie-san, staple, not even funny. Panther herself is actually a solid option. I know for a fact she can do a lot of damage. She's actually a great bench for the likes of Kimono Ellie-san and Summer Alex, because she allows the Scorch Rend to be up longer. Let me quickly read her kit so I don't look stupid. Scorch Rend boost, here we go. Increases the chances of inflicting Scorch Rend and the duration by 20%. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, she can do a lot of damage with her skills, and just helps out the Scorch Rend duration and chance to inflict it by 20%. So she's actually a fantastic unit. Ferris. Let me check what the hell you do. Because I heard you're a unique unit, but Scorch Rend, there's different levels. So level 1 is reduce your strength. This is to the enemy. Okay. Level 1, 15 seconds strength by 15. 15 seconds strength by 20%. For 10 seconds, reduce strength by 30%, and Scorch Rend resistance by 25%. Okay. So, yeah. He's really, really good. Uriel's Judgment inflicts an attacking enemy with the Uriel's Wrath debuff when the user dodges that enemy's attack after activate. What does that do? I'm not sure. It's a debuff. What does the debuff do? I don't see it. Where is it? When he, well, I do know that when he is in sigil release, he does have increased damage against Scorching enemies by 35% and 12% skill haste as well, so he's a solid option. I'm just trying to find what Yordle's Wrath does. I'm not entirely sure what it does. Let me check the notes. I'm not seeing it, but honestly, everything else, he's actually a solid option to choose, so Ferris is not a bad choice. Moving on to Arbor Giacchio. Where is she? Let me see. Force Striker, Inflict Scorch Rend. Increases strength by 20% for every 15 seconds that pass without the user being knocked back by an enemy. Okay. Oh, she's a Force Striker. Yeah, and she can Dispel with Force Strikes. She's a solid option, honestly. She's really, really good. And immunity to knockback with her S2 as well, so there you go. Summer Alex, I love you, but you're a good choice. Kimono Alexander does your job a hell of a lot better, and I hate to admit it because I was really rooting for Summer Alex to be better, but Kimono Alexander, just the utility she has is just unrivaled. But Alex is really still a great option if you want to be a support unit. She will lower enemy scorch resistance by 20%, so yeah. And then if used after Burning Bonds, which is her, Burning Bonds is her S2, Tropical Sniper is her S1. So if her S1 is used after Burning Bonds, directly after, lowers her Scorch, it'll deal extra damage and reduce Scorch Rend resistance by 20% for 30 seconds, and removes the Scorch Bloom from enemies hit by this attack. The removal of Scorch Bloom will not count as that. Okay. Scorch Bloom does not, this is S2. Scorch Bloom does not stack and cannot be reapplied to enemies still afflicted by it. When Scorch Bloom is lost, the affected enemy will take a hit and be inflicted with Scorch Rend. Okay. So yeah, she pretty much enables it and takes it away, and then has Flurry, Scorch Rend, Edge, and Sting. So 50% or higher increases chance of inflicting Scorch Rend by 50% and its duration by 30. So yeah, she's a Scorch Rend bot pretty much. So yeah, she's a really good choice, but sadly she doesn't make it into the upper tiers. The Rat. The Summer Rat. The Summer Rat is actually, believe it or not, a high tier option. And I'll tell you why. Flurry Scorch Rend Punisher increases damage to Scorch Rend enemies by 35% when the combo is 15 or higher. That is only for her herself, but it's still really, really good. She has that built in. Imagine if someone like Galileonitis had that shit built in. I'd lose it. But yeah, she can do a fair bit of crazy damage. Gives strength amp of up to level 3 with her S2. Her S1 inflicts Scorch Rend and whatnot. And then if the user has at least one Sizzling Sunflower, which is from her S2, she'll deal 20 hits of 90% and one hit of 349 to target nearby enemies and deal extra damage to Scorch Rend enemies based on combo count. 110% at 0 hits, 120 at 15, 130 at 30, and 150 at 50 hits. So yeah, and because she's a dagger, she can ramp that up really, really fast. So moving on to the final two, Yukata Cleo, a Cleo that I wanted in this game for a while, and I wish I had. Yukata Cleo deals one hit of 1600% flame damage to enemies directly ahead, increase the debuff zone that adaptively suppresses damage. What the hell is this? Decreases damage dealt by an enemy provided certain elemental requirements are met. Okay. And then her S2 creates a debuff zone for 10 seconds that reduces strength and defense of enemies inside of it and gives a defense amp. So she's a good supporter. Just a little weird on that adaptive suppression thingy. So she's a good choice, but eh. Then finally, we have Undercover Grace. She reduces defense by 10% with her S1. And then level 2 is deal X hits of 1,000 damage to flame. Okay. This skill can only be used when the user has at least one soul seal, and using it will consume all soul seals, and then deal hits and grant amps equal to the number of soul seals consumed. Okay. And then ability 1 grants the user a soul seal every time one hit of soul deprivation connects with an enemy. Okay. So pretty much just spam S1, stack it up a little bit, and then use S2. Okay. And then when she gets a team defense amp, she'll have gradually recovers her own HP with 5% recovery potency. So she's actually pretty good. She's a good choice, but yeah, honestly, better flame swords. And lastly, where are we gonna put the twins? You put them right now. You put them in the staples. Like, it's not even funny. You put them like right there. It's not even funny of how much of a staple they'll be, because they heal, they give over damage to the team, they shit out a shit ton of damage. I wish I had them, but I'm not going to cry about it. They will be my next dream summon target easily. So yeah, that is going to be it for pretty much what you should look forward to in terms of like building your teams or how you should go about it based on this list. Obviously, everyone is subject to their own opinion, so yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If you found this video informative and you liked it, make sure to hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Closing in on 1,000 subs. I think I'm at like 802, I think, at the time I was recording. Hopefully I can hit 1,000 by the end of the year. If not, so be it. It's just a little goal I set for myself. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. As always, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.